Hey everyone, Christopher here, and welcome back to another episode of Fossil Fortifieds. I do apologize. I know my videos, especially my shorts, have been a little chaotic lately. Working on getting back into it. But anyways, we have another What's Sold video for you. This is from August 24th through August 30th. And this may have been probably one of my best weeks ever. Certainly best week of the year. 30 orders, but as you see, there was a lot of multi-quantity orders this week. And total gross sales $558.38. So definitely well above my weekly average, as you've seen. Let's do a quick scroll here. We got a swap card, Saddam Hussein, postcards. A lot of postcards, of course. That's typical. Got some CDVs in there that I'll highlight to you here in a little bit. Got a button that I'll show you. Sold another die cut. Yep. Nice Garak. All right. And CD that was my mom's. And yeah, enough of the overview. Let's get into the video. Alright, so let's start on these what solds. This first one is one of the best sales. Well, it was the best sale of the week. I sold first these two CDVs on auction. They're of a Polish woman. I'm not going to even try to pronounce that name there. Let me pull these up a little bigger. But they each sold on a single auction for or single bid for $29.99. So that's the first one there. Let's see the identified on the bag was identified as grandmother, obviously young to be grandmother in that photo, and then same woman again. And they are going back to Warsaw, Poland. So I thought that was pretty good. $55.25 after shipping and fees. Not bad on that. That came from the Albany album estate sale. And then the same buyer came back later, and we went back and forth a couple times, but I effectively gave them 50% off on the corresponding grandfathers that went with those two. I figured they already spent a good amount of money with me, so why not? So these are going back to Warsaw as well. So $27.57 after shipping and fees on that. So not bad. That really helped puff up the week. All right. This is another Albany album estate sale item, and it's from album 7. So we got I believe, embossed letter G from Katarina Klein. It seems to be the artist. I don't remember seeing a signature on this one, but just by doing the background research on it, I was able to determine it was likely part of that set. So it's a alphabet series called Metamorphic Flowers. I brought this one up in part because this is the second or third floral letter that I've gotten out of the Albany albums that have already sold. So maybe something to keep an eye out for if you can find them for pretty cheap. We're out of order here a little bit, but we got a pinback button, Yo Gabba Gabba, from Summer 2012 Comic Con. I think I got this in like a sweepstakes free Comic Con related box thing back when I was living in Canada. But anyways, I put it up for $19.99 on June 8th of this year, and it sold pretty quickly. And I think the Yo Gabba Gabba is something to keep an eye out for. I'm not really familiar with what it is, but the comps for those words seem to be pretty good. And you can see $20 for this little pin. It's only 1.25 inches. All right, back into postcards. So you've seen these before. These are the Hindu goddesses postcards, oversized. I think 5x7. And these all came out of postcard books. I've done extremely well on these. I think this one order technically paid for all of the postcard books, and I've sold tons before this. But anyways, got 4 pieces. They get 20% off because they bought multiple at once. So after shipping and fees, $26.09. All right, another multi-quantity order. This one was kind of fun just because it was the postcards they bought were sort of from all over the place, um, as far as my sourcing and so forth. So the first one here, let's see, some sort of advertising. Public Art Fund presents Pipolati wrist. Open my blade. I don't know what most of that means, but there you go. Open my glade. So that would help if I, didn't have a typo. Makes more sense now. Okay. Let's see. We got Brooklyn Academy of Music, Mahatma Gandhi. Go. Let's see. So the first one, yeah, both of those were originally $5.99. The first one I got off eBay. The other one I got from the estate sale. We got Miss Piggy in her gallery. Self-explanatory there. That one I got on Whatnot, originally $9.99. And then this one I didn't know was ever actually going to sell. But we got Dry Paint, circa 1971. And that was originally priced $5.99. This came from one of the Albany albums. So after shipping and fees, we got $17.98 total. On the home stretch here, all right. This was interesting. So this was from the Albany album estate sale as well. This was from the loose stuff that I had picked up. And there was a whole series of these. They're oversized. Let's see, what are our dimensions? 5 by 7 3/4. So, but it's like I don't even know what type of art style would that be. Art Deco, Art Nouveau, I don't know. But anthropomorphic sun, rain clouds, just a nice scene. Again, there's a whole series of these. Most of them were by the same artist. This one was not by them, so I don't know. But anyways, $19.99 on one bid. Alrighty. So we got an advertising for WordWeb, complete internet solution. A whole bunch of eyeballs floating in the water there, ocean. Buyer bought 5 of these. I have 6 more left. They were $5.99 each originally. So after shipping and fees, $16.97. Another example of why I always list all of the quantity that I have. I don't play the scarcity game. All right, this was an interesting one. I really kind of struggled with the title. As you can see, there's not much going on to it. I looked this place up. I put it into Google Lens and Translate and all that stuff, and I was getting a lot of mixed information. So I just tossed that in there. I got pretty close that it was a barracks, maybe in Poland. I couldn't identify the flag, so I just noted flags. And I started on auction for $9.99, and it actually did get 4 bids for $16.38. So this is why I put things on auction. Sometimes it works out in my favor. A lot of times one bid and that's it. But every so often you make a few extra bucks off it. So all it really costs you is time, and it's really, really easy to relist a bunch at fixed price. So it's not that big a deal. And then last but not least, I have to show this one. Another Albany album sale from Album 8. British Columbia Indian or Indigenous peoples, First Peoples motif of an eagle, Pacific Northwest. And my dad actually bought this one. So hand delivered that one. So it saved a little on shipping. But $10.99. So grateful for my dad for supporting. He does like a lot of the Native American motifs, so I shouldn't be too surprised in hindsight. But anyways, that was my week of sales. Good one. I hope that continues, but I'm pretty sure the week after this was not so good. Well, is what it is. Let me know what your favorite sale from this list was and how your sales are doing. Catch you on the next video.